Nicole Hughes on behalf of the people.
Bridget Coons on behalf of Mr. McAllister. Mr. McAllister, if you can, unmute yourself and state your name.
Hi there. My name is Trey Lamar McAllister.
Sure. All right, what are we doing?
Your Honor, we would ask for adjournment. Mr. McAllister was referred to mental health court. He has completed an intake. We're just waiting on the final determination for that.
And how you want the 9th or the 16th?
Can we have the 9th date?
Probable cause conference, November 9th, 2023, 9 a.m. Zoom invite indicates bond will continue. Thank you.
Your Honor, can we actually address bond as well on this file?
Quickly.
So Mr. McAllister currently has housing through Avalon that he doesn't want to lose. He is able to retain a job as a landscaping contractor through Dave's Drywall in Ann Arbor, as well as working for Ground Cover News. He's been in jail for the last 30 days. We would be asking for a bond reduction to a personal bond.
Before I get a response, have you talked to the folks at Avalon Housing? Is he even in jeopardy of losing his housing?
I have not had the opportunity.
Yeah, okay. Response?
Your Honor, this motion was heard at the last probable cause conference and denied. The defendant is in custody for his failure to appear here at a PCC on September 21st. The court issued a bench warrant with a cash surety bond. At the time that he failed to appear, he also had a community corrections bond violation in the report. He was ordered to report to community corrections, and by the time he failed to appear, he had never reported to community corrections. At this point, we have nothing has changed on that. I have no reason to believe that he will be otherwise appearing or compliant. In addition to that, my office is reviewing another warrant request for him for larceny in a building as well. He does also have a retail fraud third case that he is in custody on. I will say his bond on that case, though, is $100, but it has not been posted.
For bond reductions denied again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Additional documentation to review. It's my understanding she's going to look at that and speak with the officer. So we're just asking for an adjournment to continue plea negotiations. And if I may address his bond.
Okay. You saw what happened the last time. And
I did,
was involved,
Your Honor.
So go ahead.
I did, Your Honor, but I'm feeling good vibes from you this morning. So I think I'm going to go for it.
Good vibes. Okay. All right. As to bond.
Your Honor, as to his bond, we're just requesting a modification of the current bond condition. He's currently on home confinement to his father's address. He would like to ask the court to change his bond condition so that he may return home to the Willis address. I did speak with Ms. Hughes about it and supplied the following information. The client is currently receiving mental health treatment at New Oakland Family Center.
In a courtroom packed with drama and over-the-top performances, it was a relief to see one person who came to do the job. No games, no nonsense. While others stumbled through their stories like they were trying out for a courtroom reality show, the judge stayed sharp and in control. Dressed in the robe and armed with a dry wit, they cut through the noise with ease. No sugarcoating, no distractions, just firm, focused decisions from someone clearly tired of hearing the same excuses over and over again.
Patient as well as therapy. He's been to therapy most recently on the 24th was his most recent appointment. It appears from the documentation that he's been in treatment since his release from custody. So he's been in about several months. I've also submitted letters from the therapist for the children, who's also in support of the family reunification and believes that it will also help Mr. Britt be able to begin to engage in a normal and productive life. He's been away from his family since August. And now that he is doing this treatment and is on medication and compliant with those plans, is asking this court again to allow him to return home to his family.
Has the new evaluation been done?
The new
for the mental health court?
It has, Your Honor. He's been denied mental health court because he is receiving treatment from a private care provider.
All right. What's the response? Is there a response from the people? Because I addressed this at the last hearing, and I had indicated that I wanted to, the evaluation needed to be done before I'd consider it. But Ms. Hughes, any response?
This is a tough one for me this week. And the reason it's tough is because Miss Anderson did a good job, frankly, and I am not happy about that. So Miss Anderson sent me, she had medical professionals send me 2 documents. One is a nurse practitioner that oversees treatment of the defendant. That nurse practitioner and is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, is recommending that the defendant return to the marital home. So just full disclosure to the court, I have reviewed that and I do have access to that. In addition, Ms. Anderson had the defendant's children's social worker, therapist, send me a recommendation as well that she believed it would be in the children's best interest that the defendant be returned to the home. What makes this very difficult for me is, one, I have been opposed to this every step along the way because this is the environment that he lived in when he had his mental health breakdown and led to these very, very serious, very dangerous crimes. That's one aspect of it for me. The other aspect, which is really guiding me here, is there has been domestic violence in this family. Part of this police report outlines that the defendant's wife, and I've been trying not to put this on the record because that's not what this case is about. And I want her to feel safe with us. And I want her to feel safe with the police. This report indicates the defendant has committed domestic violence against her, that she has felt fearful and threatened by him to the point that she has lied about his mental health in order to not be harmed by him, which then resulted in him remaining in their home in the past. So I was trying to think up, okay, if he returns to the marital home and he's on a home confinement tether, how do I protect her? So I was thinking, okay, what about a no unwanted contact? Well, that doesn't help because then he's going to violate the home confinement. And then he's going to say, she told me to leave the house. I had no choice. I had to leave. I have 2 conflicting orders. I just can't imagine I just can't come up on my own. And this is why, one of the many reasons I'm not Your Honor, this is why you are. I don't know what the solution is to protect this family and to protect the community. If he has another mental health breakdown. And so keeping things the way they are, keeping him on the home confinement tether to his father's home, things are going really well for him right now, it sounds. Why would I disrupt that to the risk of the wife and the children? But the difference this week for me is I have to disclose to the court I did receive those letters from medical professionals, and that is their recommendation. And that puts me in a really tough position because I'm not supportive of this, but I'm not a medical professional.
In a courtroom full of emotional back and forth and dramatic statements, the judge stood out as the voice of reason. While others leaned on tearful letters or last-minute therapy updates, the judge stayed focused on what really mattered, the truth. As the excuses kept changing, the judge stayed steady, calmly separating emotional appeals from real public safety concerns. Honestly, if common sense had a face, it'd be the one sitting at the bench, focused, unshaken, and not buying into the performance.
I'd like to, before making a decision on it, see the reports myself on that. I typically in these cases, also the court is not privy to the police report, but I'd also like to see the portions of the police report that refer to, I'll call it the domestic discourse that is going on, and particularly highlighting those things so that I can see it for myself and kind of try to make a call on this. So while I've set the probable cause conference for the 16th, because we're looking at other things, I'll set a motion for bond hearing. I'll set that for next week on the 2nd at 3 p.m. And if you can get that over to Ms. Weidling, then I can take a look at that and make an informed decision. But at this time, his bond will continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll get that over this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cole Hughes on behalf of the people.
Bridget Coons on behalf of Mr. Bell. Mr. Bell, if you can state your name.
Travis David Bell.
Your Honor,
Hey, what are we doing?
Your Honor, we'd be asking for a short adjournment, the November 9th date, and then if we could have permission
Get to
to.
pick your date. You need 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
November 9th, 2023, 9 a.m. Bond continued.
Your Honor, can we
Thank you.
have permission to address bond on this one?
Go ahead.
So Mr. Bell is another client who is currently going through an eviction process. Whenever he was arrested, he was able to find supportive connections who did offer to help him catch up on his housing bills. I've tried to reach out to social connections as well as him to let him know that he is currently incarcerated and we haven't been able to, but he is worried about losing his housing. He has spent 12 days inside jail. He has no other holds or cases that are holding him. He also has a job pending at Salvation Army where his orientation is November 5th. So for those reasons, we would be asking for a personal bond.
Response.
Your Honor, at the time of charging, my office requested 10,000 cash surety on this case. I'm renewing this request at this time. At his arraignment, the magistrate ordered a 5,000 10% bond. The defendant, from his criminal history, it appears that he has, and from the police report, a substantial substance abuse issue. His criminal history dates back as far as 2001, as I can see. He has a number of drug convictions, one including a 2013 maintaining a controlled substance lab, 2017 possession of controlled substance. In 2017, he also had a number of FT, financial transaction device convictions, 5 of them, in fact. He was sent to prison on those cases and was on parole supervision until 2021. In this case, he entered through the back doors of a church, essentially to go in and look for things that he could steal. He found a water bottle full of money. He then continued on to an office where he was then discovered by people coming into the church that rightfully belonged there. And he tried to flee from them. The man that found him actually tackled him off of his bike to prevent him from fleeing and stealing the money that was found in the church. When the police arrived, I won't swear, but the defendant said that he effed up and that he drank too much, resulting in this behavior. His bond is pretty low at this point at $500, but we requested 10,000 cash surety.
Motion for bond reductions denied. Bond will continue. Thank you.
In a courtroom full of sad stories, overdue bills, and job offers that magically show up right before court, it's good to see someone standing firm. While others seem ready to hand out personal bonds left and right, the judge is doing something rare, sticking to the facts, not the feelings. Because yes, your criminal record still counts, especially when it's packed with offenses going back decades. And if your most recent crime was stealing from a church, you're not walking out with a handshake and a second chance. You're getting exactly what you earned, a firm, no-nonsense denial.